Good evening. I would like to call the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for May 22nd, 2024 to order. The time is now 7:04. Would you please stand with me and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 1C on the agenda tonight is the roll call of council members, and I'll ask our city clerk to please call the roll.
Councilmember Beaton?
Here.
Councilmember Brocksmith?
Here.
Councilmember Correas?
Here.
Councilmember Hudson?
Here.
Councilmember Molinar?
Here.
Councilmember Tesoro?
Here.
Councilmember Vanderstoop?
Here.
Thanks, Becky. The adoption of tonight's meeting agenda. Is there a motion for that?
Move to approve. Second.
Motion by Councilmember Hudson, a second by Councilmember Carillas. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. All right, item 3 tonight is community comments. Is there anyone present in council chambers here tonight that would like to address council? We ask you to step to the podium, state your name, city of residence, and limit your comments to about 3 to 5 minutes.
Hello, Ed Johnson, Mount Vernon. Number one, there's a quiz right now on everything that was just said. Nobody passes, you're out. I'm out, because I didn't understand about a third. Now I do understand how the feds operate, because I used to be one back in the day. And for some reason, this mentality of use the budget or lose it, meaning you don't use it, they take it away, you never get it again, for whatever the matter is. Could be office materials and stuff. I don't understand how that ever came to be. There's a lot of modification that needs. So I had recently met with my Ward 1 councilman, thank you very much, and we walked around very quickly and identified various things that I'm concerned about in our community, especially the business downtown area. I'm looking forward, having lived in a city of 7 million, having traveled to Japan 13 times, I've seen other things. We are way behind the curve of where this is going. We've got only 30-some thousand people in this population. Where are we needing to go, and how is it going to, all come together? So, like on the garbage bins I keep talking about, I did some research, and in the United States, it seems like these big, terrible garbage bins, what requires a big truck and big guys to maneuver, is what they have here in the United States. In Japan and other places, even at the SCAT building, the transit center, they have a compactor. They don't need a big truck. They don't need a big guy. So they got these compactors, they reduce them, they recycle them or replace the components inside, the mashed up garbage regularly. So again, I'm going back in. So I'm here today to point out, this is what it took for me to get all my special use hunting and fishing gear. This is hunting and fishing. There were 6 applications. They didn't tell me that. I did the senior, disabled, low income last October. Thought I was done. Oh no. I had to go make another doctor's appointment to have the doctors fill this out for information they already have in Olympia. Again, they can't use the computers, take them away. They know I have an EBT card. They know that I'm in low income. They know what my Social Security disability payments receipts are every month. But they yet made me go through this again. My doctor was pulling her hair out. She couldn't figure out some of these stupid questions. Why? Because they're so concise. It's actually my personal information that went to Olympia, and there's not one person qualified up there to look at that information, make any kind of determination. It should have just been a blank answer sheet, and that's all they get to see. But this is how our world is. So back to the funding. Use it or lose it. No, we ought to give it back, cut down the $26 trillion debt and climbing, and then help each other. But no, that's not how this leadership government works. So back to home here, I'd like to see some real stepping up of the graffiti is just horrific, and you start noticing there's certain gang elements to it. That should have been stopped ages ago. And I'm talking about the woodshed, a burlap bag, whatever it takes, but what's happened to date is not working. So that's something I wanted to talk to the new police chief about and see where they're going. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go through their Citizens Police Academy, which I highly recommend, again, for everybody, because it's very enlightening. What they do behind the scenes and what's going on is night and day. That said, I've got a whole book of stuff. Yeah, I got too much time. But I just kind of wonder about, you know, who's in the positions of making the changes, and I think it's you guys. I hope it's, for the city anyways. And that is, you know, be more conducive, whatever it takes to streamline. The computers are a distraction. More times than not, they don't work half the time. I wish the CFO would take and calculate that time and realize, oh, it ain't worth it. You know, once you're on the internet and you're being bombarded by all kinds of bad actors and stuff, then that's, you know, that's a whole different game. So for me, technology is out. I'm trying to avoid it at all costs, but you can't, because every leadership thinks this is going to be, the courts too, they're using Zoom. Zoom was created by Chinese schmucks, and it's on the FBI's warning list, but, oh, we got to use Zoom. Oh, Jesus. There are so many other platforms, but people just, I don't know. Oh, this sounds like a good idea, so let's just do this and this, we got a fad. Well, this fad's going to turn out ugly, and it goes with new cars too. I don't know how many computer systems are on those. I'm going to guess plus 40. And that's just a basic guess on computers, not the sensors. I think there's probably around 70 or 80 sensors. And to replace one of those sensors is going to be about $800 on the cheap. So I'm just trying to throw information out to get people thinking. Yes, I understand my information's not really concise and stuff, but it's not meant to be. Because I've got like 80 different subject matters here I want to discuss that I think are all really important. So I just mention what I can as I can. So I'd also like to get on the agenda of some of these committees, especially safety, because I almost got hit again with this on down at Second by the City Hall, right by Red Apple on the southeast corner.
About 30 seconds in.
Okay, so I was a few steps already into the lane of travel for this lady in a black car, and she saw me. She looked right at me, and then she kept going. I couldn't, you know, every word I could think of that was profanity, I did. And then I called 911 and thought, oh, I forgot to get the license plate number. But I got the description, I have seen that car again, and I am going to get that information forward because they are unsafe. Therefore, we need other things to help, because these blinking yellow lights, this doesn't work. I don't know, paintball guns and arresting them or shooting, I don't know. But I'm just saying, we got to make change, and it's got to be a drastic change because things are in a very bad situation. Thank you.
So, anyone else like to address council this evening? Any other community comments? All right, moving on to item 4. Tonight's consent agenda includes meeting minutes, payroll checks, wire transfers, claims, and a budgeted purchase agreement. Entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Beaton, a second by Councilmember Molinar. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. All right, consent agenda passes. On to reports. Council held its Finance and Parks Committee meeting tonight, and Councilmember Mary Hudson chairs that committee and has a report for us.
Thank you, Mayor. Tonight, as the mayor said, we had our Finance and Parks and Enrichment Services Committee meeting. We, of course, always open with the approval of the meeting minutes, and then we went into a presentation by our Parks and Enrichment Services Director, Jennifer Berner. Really fascinating presentation that we were able to have tonight from the Cascadia Club. Shauna Herring-Jensen is the executive director of the Cascadia Club, and it's she talked about the club and the partnership with the Parks Department. The Cascadia Club is a recreational program for adults with developmental disabilities in Skagit County that is now being offered under the umbrella of the Parks and Recreation Department, with the program running out of the Recreation Building at Hillcrest Park. And together, the Cascadia Club and the City of Mount Vernon are able to offer safe and inclusive space for individuals to develop new skills, build social connections, and boost self-esteem. The presentation was fantastic. I think we all felt it was just an awesome addition to the city programs, and we were really happy to hear about it. Next, Jennifer presented about our RCO grants. It's split into 2 different pockets of money at the beginning of the year, end of the year. Phase 1, all the projects except the repowder coating of the furniture at Kiwanis Park is completed. It's in the shop. It will be done very soon. We have to have this buttoned up by the end of June. We've got new gates at Hillcrest and Bakerview. The Hillcrest large gazebo and the smaller picnic shelter each have new roofs. And the new skate light boy, that's a one. Skate light material is being applied to the ramps. Phase 2 can begin in July, and it will include painting the restroom buildings at Hillcrest, Bakerview, and Sherman Anderson, the large gazebo and smaller picnic shelters at Hillcrest Park, restriping the basketball courts at Hillcrest and the 6th Street Park, and resurfacing the tennis courts at Hillcrest Park, which will buy us about another 5 or 6 years of use on that. And then we will move forward before that with a plan, but at least we've got some more time to think about it. We also have an RCO Community Outdoor Athletic Facilities Grant. I believe the acronym is COAF, if I'm saying that right. You have to apply to apply. So we submitted a pre-application on March 13th. We are asking for 1.1 million. And Jennifer just received the approval to move on to the final application process, and the final applications are due June 20th. So we're pretty excited about that. Talk some about the Bonnie Ray Park, the changes that we're thinking about. Through the PROS plan, which we've been working on for a couple years, there was a lot of support in the community for developing Bonnie Ray Park into a community environmental learning location. And this fall, the staff will be moving forward with developing an area for a community garden and developing programs to run out of the garage and the park property. Staff will be applying for another RCO grant later this summer. It's called the No Child Left Inside Grant. If awarded the grant, we will be able to do some of the funding for our programming needs. Also, a great update on the recreation programming. Big Hitters program for 3 to 6-year-old had a record number this year of 214 youth participating. It's continued to grow every year. We've got a variety of free summer programs. Supervised playground program at Edgewater and Bakerview. This year it includes a free lunch component, which is really exciting. It's a partnership with the Boys and Girls Club. It's currently at capacity with a waiting list, but we're looking at the possibility of expanding it in discussions with the Boys and Girls Club, so news to follow. Rec on the Go has had some additional apartment complexes on the list this year that were made possible by coordinating with the Colshan neighborhood group meetings. Explore Outdoors offers families a great way to learn and connect with nature. The next activity will be at Bakerview Park on June 15th from 10 to noon, and it's called Bugs at Bakerview. So if you like bugs, go to Bakerview. Ask a Naturalist Days start in June and occur once a month at a selected park. You can drop in and visit your local parks and bring your questions about nature. And there's also a new Bird Watchers Club. It's once a month on Saturdays from 9 to 11. Check the schedule on the website for the park location. It's designed for beginners to avid bird watchers. Next, we had a presentation from Finance Director Doug Valesky. He gave us an update on the Mount Vernon Library Commons finances. We've paid out an estimated $44 million out of the $54.7 million budget. The reserve is getting low, but we should receive $15 million mid-June from our first reimbursement from our TIFIA loan, which will make everybody breathe a little easier. The bond anticipation note that the city received to help cash flow is due December of 2024 in the amount of $19 million. And we're still waiting for an agreement for the awarded federal CFI grant in the amount of $12.5 million. We had a brief property tax discussion about bank capacity. It was a property tax 101 refresher, and we talked about bank capacity when we're looking at setting our property tax levy coming up here in the fall. And then the last discussion item was about the ARPA fund. A financial update was provided on the status of the ARPA funding. The city was awarded $9 million in these funds in 21 and 22. All funds must be obligated by the end of December this year and expended by the end of December in 2026. And the mayor is currently working with the directors for a financial plan on any potential remaining funds which will be brought to the council for consideration. And we ended our meeting tonight at 7.
Thank you, Mary. Last week, Councilmember Brocksmith chaired the Development Services Committee. We met in the multi-purpose room, and Councilmember Brocksmith has that report.
I do,
Excellent.
but I wanted to keep it short tonight and not get too far into the weeds. We started out with a quick update from the Development Services Director, Stacy Pratchner, on monthly report from that department. We spent most of our time talking about the Managed Ecosystem Alternative Program. It's essentially a elective option that anyone who's developing property in the city of Mount Vernon can use to buy down the required buffer on a wetland in the, or a other critical area in the city of Mount Vernon. So we had a good review of the history of that program and how it came into being, the different watersheds, and there's quite a few in the city of Mount Vernon, and how the costs of that buy-down program are established, and then where the city turns around and uses those funds to improve other similar habitats in the city. Then after we had quite a conversation on that, we're not completely done with that conversation. I think we're gonna have another committee discussion about what the next steps might be with that, what the city wants to do. So stay tuned on that. We also had a short presentation from Stacy on the impact fees the city offers. In the last couple of months, we've been looking at permit fees, impact fees, and connection fees in the city. We found that we are really in alignment with the rest of the jurisdictions of Skagit County, if not under where most jurisdictions are. We also talked about when and how we would update the impact fees, and there's a process for doing that in the comprehensive plan update that we'll be doing in the next year. And as always, we'll continue to look at impact fees and making sure they're allowing or requiring new development in the city to pay for new services so that those costs are not extended to the existing constituents in the city. Then we adjourned.
Thank you, Richard. Item 5B is council member comments. Any council member comments tonight? Yes.
I do have one.
Good.
I would like to celebrate with students or work in the community regarding this salmon barbecue. We received 30 applications for a scholarship. Then all of them, they were really well qualified. It was holding my breath to see how much the community provides to bring services to our community, young generation, and how we can contribute to those young students and coming to be part of the humanity in the community and see how high they can dream to go for higher education and just to having a little support. We've been, for my colleague, Richard Brockman, he's a president of the Kiwanis, and Diane and Diana, we were part of the process of the application this afternoon. And it is so hard to see not to give to all the 30 applicants a scholarship. We are working hard to see and see how much we can do. Then for me, this is a very great example how when the community get together and we can make changes and make impacts in the young kids. And then I would like to say thank you to Kiwanis volunteers in the community, Mount Vernon students, for providing their time, which one is not free because they don't have free time because they always are working with the parents, but they did make time to come to contribute for doing volunteer work in the Kiwanis barbecue. And that's the product of the hard work we do in the community. Thank you.
Other council member comments? Okay. There's no mayor's report tonight. I did give an update today at the Mount Vernon Chamber of Commerce. It was the annual State of the City address. So lots of updates there, kind of maxed out on updates today. I think that recording will be, you can find that on the city's website, the city's YouTube channel. If you can tolerate another long-winded politician droning on about, no, I had a great time. It was a good luncheon. Thanks, Councilmember Beaton, for being there. Wanted to ask council for any committee agenda requests. No, I think we just did that in committee too, so. Moving on, item 6 on the agenda is new business. Under new business, item A is the approval of an agreement with the International Association of Firefighters, and Human Resources Director Aaron Cater is here to present this item. Hi, Aaron.
Good evening. Good evening. Yes, I'm here regarding the firefighter collective bargaining agreement. It expired last year in December. We began negotiating last November and came to a tentative agreement in April. Some of the highlights are it's a 3-year contract. There will be a 10% cost of living adjustment this year, 2024. Brings us in line with our comparables, puts us right about average. There will be COLA increases in 2025 and 2026 with floors of 2% and ceilings of 5%. We adjusted the education incentive upwards into a percentage versus a flat dollar amount. Again, that puts us in line with our comparables. We increased the deferred comp from 4% to 5%. And we increased the life insurance benefit from $20,000 up to $50,000. The total cost that is above what was budgeted this year is approximately $29,000. So with that, staff recommends that council authorize the mayor to sign the IAFF Local 1983 Firefighter Collective Bargaining Agreement.
Questions for Aaron? All right, entertain a motion by council for the agreement?
I'll
Yes,
make-
Councilmember Brocksmith.
But you make the motion. Go ahead. No, I just have a comment.
Oh, go ahead, comment.
Oh, yeah, comment. Well, this has been quite a work in progress for quite some time, so I'd like to thank the administration staff for all the work they've done, and to the firefighters. They have, been underwaged for some time, and so this kind of completes a multi-year effort that we've made to get them up to comparable salaries. So 10% sounds like a lot, but keep in mind they've been 10% under for quite some time. So that was my only comment.
Now a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion that council authorize the mayor to sign the IAFF Local 1983 Firefighter Collective Bargaining Agreement.
Second.
A motion by Councilmember Beaton, a second by Councilmember Cadiz. Any more discussion? We're good? All right, those in favor say aye, please.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The agreement is approved. Thank you, Aaron. Thanks for your work on this. Item B is a street closure request for the Mount Vernon High School graduation parade. It is that time already, and Parks Director Jennifer Berner is going to present this item. Jennifer.
Good evening again, Council. So before you this evening is our street closure request for the Mount Vernon High School graduation parade. So it's the same as it's always been, except one little change this year is they're going to try it at 6:00 p.m. I really think this will work better for some of our businesses downtown and for street closures with the police department. So we're going to they're going to give it a try this year and see how that works. But they start at the library parking lot there and then head towards Montgomery Street where they disband. So all of that's the same. The only thing that's changed is the time that they're going to be doing this event. Our police department and everybody is on board, and it has been approved through all of our departments. So we're bringing it to you for the official okay on the street closure. So staff recommends the temporary closure of South First Street and Cleveland Avenue to accommodate the graduation parade.
Thanks. Questions for Jennifer?
I just have one comment.
Yes.
Just to inform to the audience and the community, and the reason we having the parade at that time is because for first time in many years, this is the first time the graduation is going to be during the daytime. It's going to be in the morning in Everett, and it's going to give a time for the parents and students to gathering and having a good time there and come and enjoy the parade.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion, Iris.
I can make a motion and just to approve.
Okay.
Second.
Thank
Motion by
you,
Councilmember
Gary.
Cadiz, a second by Councilmember Molinar. Discussion.
Just a quick observation that parade, which is something we all get a lot of excitement out of trying to join and watch, is unfortunately scheduled at the same time as the North Star Joint City Council event.
That's true.
So that is sort of it's an official duty of city council that we could and should be meeting with the other city councils and Skagit County commissioners to talk about the work of the North Star, which is essentially looking at behavioral health issues and homelessness issues in the county. So I'm sure many of us will have to prioritize that, but I just wanted to note that is a little bit of a kick in the pants.
I was disappointed to see that conflict, and I brought it to Skagit County Public Health's attention, and they will not be scheduling that as a conflict in the future. But it's set this year. Yeah. Any other discussion?
No.
All right. All those in favor of the motion to approve the request for the June 11th street closure, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.
Thank you.
Motion passes. Thank you, Jennifer. For item 7, I will direct the city attorney, Kevin Rogerson, to please call the city council into executive session.
Thank you, Mayor. I invite the city council to meet in executive session to discuss with legal counsel enforcement actions, litigation, or potential litigation to which the city, the governing body, or a member acting in an official capacity is or is likely to become a party when public knowledge regarding such discussions are likely to result in either adverse legal or financial consequence to the city pursuant to RCW 4230 subsection 110(1)(I) for 10 minutes, reconvening at 7:39 with no final action after.
With that, we will adjourn the City of Mount Vernon City Council meeting for Wednesday, May 22nd at 7:30.